program. Okay. So this is the fourth program. Sort a given set of n integer elements using quicksort. Computes its time complexity. So the question is, you have to do quicksort and you have to find out the time complexity of that. Run the program for varied values of n. N value we have to change, which may be greater than 500 or 5000, sorry 5000, and record the time taken for sort. So what is the extra thing we need to do is, along with the sorting, you have to record the time. How much time the sorting has taken for a given value of n. So the n value will be varying. Maybe you can take it more than 5000. So we can't give this 5000 values or more than 6000 values. For example, I want to sort 6000 elements. So what will be the whether I can give that 6000 elements as input? That is not practically possible. So what we are doing is, we are creating an array and we are filling 6000 random integers. Okay. So the array is filled with 6000 random integers. So we need to know how to create a random integer also. Then plot the graph of the time taken and taken versus n on the graph sheet. So that means you have to, how much will be the time taken for a given n, you have to record it, and that value, based on that you can draw a graph. The elements can be read from a file or can be generated using random number generator. Yeah, that was also mentioned in the question. Like you can generate the n value, that is how many elements you need to sort. That maybe you can take directly from a file or you can create a random number. Demonstrate using Java how the divide and conquer method works along with the time complexity analysis, worst case, average case, and best case. So actually for A section, we didn't start this divide and conquer. B section in the last class yesterday just started. So what is the solution, or what is meant by divide and conquer itself, I have to explain you. So what is divide and conquer strategy is telling is, if you are having a bigger problem, so this is the bigger problem we are having. So what we are doing is, the bigger problem will be divided into smaller sub-problems. So the bigger problem will be divided into smaller problems, sub-problems. So this one I am just dividing it into smaller sub-problems. So I can just write it like P1. So the bigger problem I have split it into smaller problems like P1 and then P2 and then P3, like that I am having multiple problems. So what is this smaller problem means? Smaller problem means the bigger problem I can solve, the smaller problem solution I can directly get it. The solution of the smaller problem I will be getting directly. So what will be happening? For example, I am planning to sort an element, some 10 elements I want to sort. What will be that is a bigger problem. So 10 elements I want to sort. So what will be a smaller problem? If I am dividing it into 10 one element array, 10 one element array, like first array will be having only the first element, second array will be having the second only the second element, like that I have divided the problem into 10 sub problems. Then every array will be having only one single element. So there is no need of doing any sorting. Directly that will give me the solution, because with respect to this problem number P1, that was having only one single element, is it sorted or not? So sorting applying on one single element is the smaller problem, because directly I am getting the solution of that. In the similar way, problem will be divided into sub problems, and the solution of this sub problem will be getting directly. So I will be getting a solution for the sub problem P1. I am denoting it as S1, and similarly the solution for the second problem, that is I am getting as S2, and similarly the solution for the third problem I am denoting it as S3. Now this S1, S2 and S3 will be merging, and that will give me a final solution as S. That will give me a final solution as S. That will give me a final solution as S. So this S will be acting as a solution for problem P. So this is the basic logic of every divide and conquer strategy. So if you are having a bigger problem, we will be dividing it into smaller subproblems. What is the speciality of this smaller subproblem? The smaller subproblems solution I will be getting directly. And so I got the solution for the first subproblem is S1, the second subproblem is S2, and third subproblem is S3. Now I am combining these sub-solutions of these problems, and S1, S2, S3 will be combining. It will give me the final solution for the problem P. So S will be acting as a final solution for the problem P. So this is the most basic fundamental concept behind the divide and conquer strategy. Now I will be explaining you about what is quicksort, how it is working. Okay, this is very important. And quicksort and merge sort we are doing in the lab. The same thing you can expect in the final exam also. For the DA theory, this is a sure question from the second module. So while doing it, you just try to understand it, what is happening in the quicksort. But again, the same thing I will explain in the theory class also. So now you just listen it, so that it is not that easy to understand as quickly. So please listen it, and then maybe the second time or third time I am explaining the same, you will understand it. Okay, but whenever you find a difficulty, you just inform me so that I can just clarify your doubt. Now we'll be moving into the explanation of the quicksort. Okay, so this is the most basic idea of the quicksort. So here you are having an array. Here you are having an array. So this is the array you are having. So what we are doing is, in this array, the first element we are taking, that is called as pivot element. That is called as pivot element. So what is the idea of quicksort I am telling? You just take the array which may be which is the unsorted array. This is the unsorted array which is acting as the input for this quicksort. So you take the first element of the quicksort, and that will be called as a pivot element. That will be called as a pivot element. Now what is the action we are doing is, based on this pivot element, we are splitting the array. This unsorted array will be splitting into one left hand side and the right hand side, so that if the p value will be keeping at a specific location, I am just denoting the location, that is the index value of p as s. So in the s location, for example, the s is a fourth location. So the fourth location I am keeping the p value, so that what is the criteria? The left hand side of this p should be only holding smaller number than p, and the right hand side of p will be holding only greater value of p. So the left hand side will be keeping the value which is lesser than or equal to p, and the right hand side will be keeping the value which is greater than p. For example, look into this case. So here you can see this is the p element. So this is the element I have denoted as P. So P is having the value as 7. And look at left hand side. So left hand side will be giving the value 21503. So only one thing, it should not be in the order. Only one thing we are finding out. What is it? Then only whatever the value which was present the left of 7, which will be smaller than 7, and the values which will be present the right hand side of 7 should be greater than 7. So this is the strategy we are following. So what I did, I have taken the first element of the array and I am finding out the location of P, the first element or the pivot element. That is the logic part. So how can I find out the location of P? So one thing I have to make sure that whenever I am keeping this pivot element in one particular location, the elements which are left of P should be smaller than P, and the elements to the right of P should be greater than P. So the example was showing you after this how it will be looking. Now you got two subarrays. One is the left subarray, that is holding the elements 2, 1, 5, 0, 3, and you will be having a right subarray 14, 10, 8 and 50. So these two again will be acting as two subarrays. So the bigger problem which was holding 10 elements, that has splitted into one element, we kept it here. This element will be having only the 5 elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here it will be having 4 elements. So the bigger problem was the array with 10 elements, that was splitted into the one array with 5 elements and another array with 4 elements. Now again the logic will be applying, the same logic will be applying over here. 2 will be taken as the pivot element, and I am finding out in this array, in this 5 element array, where should I keep this 2 so that the elements left of 2 will be smaller than 2 and the elements right of 2 will be greater than 2. Okay, so this is the logic. So whenever I kept the pivot element in the first iteration in the qth location, here it was denoted as q, then the quicksort applying for the left hand side and the right hand side separately. The left hand side will be, the array will be with the name A. This is the name of the array A, which will be starting from this start location, that is the lowest index. Start to end was the index value, start to end. So it will be starting from start. The subarray will be from start to the location, here it was mentioned as Q. So up to Q minus 1 will be the first array. So again I have to apply quicksort over there. And similarly, I have to do the quicksort on the other side, that is starting from Q plus 1 till end. So start and end are index values. In this case, it is 0 to 9. So start is indicating the index value 0 and Q is indicating the index value 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what P, the pivot value 7 is indicating the Q value, that is 5. So from 0 to 4, the first array, that will be applying quicksort. Applying quicksort means what? Taking the first element and acting as pivot, and we are splitting that array in such a way that left hand side of it will be smaller than that pivot element, and right hand side will be greater than the pivot element. Are you clear what is happening in the quicksort? So that is the only basic thing. We will do some problems so that you will get a clear idea. But only thing is you just take the first element as, again selecting the pivot element. There are multiple strategies. In few cases, the first element will be taking. In few cases, the median of the array will be taking. In few cases, the middle element will be taking. In few cases, the last element will be taking. So those all things are there. But we are studying with selecting the pivot element as the first element in the array. So this way we can proceed it. Are you clear with this partition procedure? This is called as the partition procedure. What is meant by partition procedure? Selecting an element, and then with that element we are splitting the array. So in this case 7 was the selected element. So with that 7 we have splitted the array into multiple parts. We have splitted the array into multiple parts. Okay. Are you clear? Please give me response. Already it is 8 o'clock class.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will ask questions randomly. Based on that, your Maiva mark will also be deciding. Not like the theory class, only few are there. So it is not easy for me to manage also. Again and again we are conducting the same thing. Its intention is only for getting all of you the benefit. So I will ask Viva in between. So be careful. Simply you should not lose your marks. Okay. So this is the logic. So when you are looking into it, you can see the low and high are the. So how can I code this process? So this is the process I was mentioned. You find out the location of the pivot element. Where should I keep? So that at the left of the pivot should be smaller value and right of the pivot will be greater values. So how can I code that particular logic in Java? So I have just written a function called to sort. So inside that what is happening? In the sort function the array and lower index in our example it was 0 and higher index it was 9. Okay. So lower index was 0 and higher index was 9. If low less than high, so it means that if low is equal to high means what will be the logic? Low is equal, why I am checking this? If it is a smaller problem, I need not do all these things. What is the smaller problem for a sorting operation? I mentioned you if the array was having only one single element, then there is no need of doing this sorting operation. So that is happening for low lesser than high calculation. So it means that if the low value is 0 and high value is 0, that means you are having only one single element. You are having only one single element. For example, 9 is the value which was present in the 0th location. So this is the only one single element was present. So only one single element was present if you are having if you are having if you are having only one single element will be present if low is equal to high. So low less than high is indicating like your array is having multiple elements. So then you have to apply this logic. What is the logic you have to apply? You have to apply the logic. First it is calling the partition function. So what is this partition function will be doing? The partition function, what is happening we will see later. So partition function will find out a location S so that I can keep my pivot element in the S location. So initially my pivot element I am randomly taking as the first element. I have to find out where can I keep this pivot element so that in which index I can keep it so that the left hand side will be smaller and right hand side will be higher. So in this case S is the location or the index value which will be returned from the partition function. So what is it doing? With respect to that S location, I can again call this sorting operation. So from the low to S minus 1 and S plus 1 to high. So this was the logic I have explained over here. Instead of Q, here we can write it as S. So in the equation it was denoted as S. So S, so from start to S minus 1 will be the first array and from S plus 1 to end will be the other array. S plus 1 to end will be the other array. So that will be recursively calling until you are reaching a smaller problem. What is the smaller problem? If low lesser than high is satisfying, then it is a bigger problem. If low value is 0 and high value is 5, then some 0 to 5 elements were present, total 6 elements were present. But if low value is 3 and high value is 3, it indicating like uh, only one single element was present in that particular location. Low and high is the same value, means only one single element is present, maybe 8 is present in that location. So that is a smaller problem. If it is not a single element array, then you have to do this sorting operation. What I did, I find out the S location. So what is S location? So S location is indicating like the S location was telling me like based on that location, if I can keep my pivot element, then the left hand side will be low to s minus 1, that will be smaller than the element what I have kept in the s location, and s plus 1 to high is the right hand side of this pivot element, that will be having the value which is greater than the element what I have kept in the location s. Okay, this is about the sort function and its recursive call. I didn't explain about what is partition, how you can find out the location of the pivot element. That is mainly the logic of this quicksort. Are you clear with this? Based on the previous diagram, actually you will get to know what is happening here. You just find out the location of this. That will be happen through the partition function. This S will be finding out using partition function. And recursively, the left hand side of the array as well as the right hand side of the array will be sorting separately. Okay, this is the complete explanation for the quicksort. You can see the elements were there. So what was happened? Firstly, I have taken 5 as the element. So 5 I can keep it over here. This is the location I have find out using by calling the partition function. Once I find out the element location 5, location for the element 5, then the left hand side will be smaller and right hand side is larger. Again this 1, 3, 2 will be another array. I have to take 1 as my pivot element for this small subarray. I am again sorting this small subarray. So 1 will be the pivot. So I have to split the array into such a way that the left hand side of 1 should be smaller value of 1 and the right hand side of 1 will be greater value of 1. So the 1 is splitted like this because the left hand side won't have any element because 1 is the smallest element in this 3 elements, and right hand side will be having the other 2 elements 3 and 2. Okay, so again looking into the other side, you can see 8, 7, 9 are the elements I am having. So I am taking this is the subarray I am having. I have to sort this array. So 8 will be acting as the pivot. I have to split the array in such a way that the left hand side of the 8 should left hand side of 8 will be having the smaller value and right hand side should have larger value. So I can keep 8 in this particular location. Its left hand side is having the value that is 7 and right hand side is having the value 9. Okay. So again this is one single element, that is the smallest problem. This is again one single element, smallest problem. This is also one single element. This is also one single element. Only here I am having 2 elements together. So this is again acting like a sub problem. So what should I do? 3 I have to take as the pivot element. 3 I have to take as the pivot element. You can see the pivot element whatever I have selected is colored with blue color. So 3 will be acting as the pivot element. So I have to split this array 3 and 2 in such a way that the elements which is left to the 3 will be smaller than 3 and the elements right to the 3 will be larger than 3. So I am keeping 3 as the element and its left hand side will be holding the value as 2 and right hand side won't have any element because the array was having only 2 elements and in that 2 will be the smallest element, so it came the left hand side of it. So now the problem will be having all the array with one single element 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now I have to apply the merge operation on this. So means combining the solution. Already I find out the solution for all the subproblems which was holding only one element. So what I am doing, 2 and 3 will be merging. That was the recent solution for the subproblem. So that was merging in the order, that is 2 and 3 will be getting. Then this 1 and 2, 3 is already a sorted array. Along with that 1 will be holding, because the left hand side will be smaller value according to the rule. So the left hand side element will be keeping in the first location, then 2 and 3 will be keeping. Then coming over here, again 7 will be the smaller element. Uh, this is the solution for the subproblem, so that will be merging. So from left to right you can merge it, because the left hand side is holding the smaller value. So 7, 8, 9 will be the solution for this subproblem. Now the left hand, with respect to this problem, the left hand side is this, as the sorted array I was find out for this subarray solution is this value, and this subarray solution is this value. Now I can combine the solution of this. So it means that 1, 2, 3, whatever I was getting from as the solution for this problem is 1, 2, 3. Then this 5, because left to right the values are arranged in a sorted order, and then 7, 8, 9 will become. So the final value will be 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. We'll do one more example, one or two more example. Okay, this is the first array. You also start doing along with me. 54, 26, 93, 17, 77, 31, 44, 55 and 20. So this is the array I am having. So how can I do it? This is the question. So first what I should do is I have to select the pivot element. First I have to select the pivot element. Which is acting as the pivot element? According to the rule, which will be the pivot element? 54 will be the pivot element. So I have taken 54 as my pivot element. Now my intention is I have to find out a location for 54. I have to find out a location for 54. For that, what I am doing is I am keeping two pointers. So I can just keep the pointer's name as low pointer, or I can just keep it as I and j, because the code what I have written is based on I and j. In the textbook also it was mentioned as I, but here this is just two pointers or two variables. So what is this I pointer is indicating, like whatever be the pivot element you have taken, that is called as, this is the low and this is the high. This is the total index will be varying from low to high. This was the logic. Low to high. So low index will be in this case 0, and high index how many elements? 3, 6, 9. 9 elements are there. So 0 to 8. So index value low will be 0 and high will be 8. In between, if you are stuck with something, you just tell me so that I can. Then what I should do is I have to keep two pointers, I and j. These are the two pointers I should keep, I and j. These are the two pointers. So what will be the value of I? I can keep the value as low plus 1. I can keep the value, low value was 0. So I will be starting from first location onwards. So I value is low plus 1 and j value is equal to high. J will be starting from the last element and I will be starting from the the low plus 1 index. So in this case low plus 1 is 0 plus 1, that is 1. So now I and j indices I just find out. Now what should I do is the I pointer will be moving, or I variable will be moving from left to right. I variable will be moving from left to right, and it is checking whether the element present in the ith location is smaller than my pivot element or not. What I am checking? if the element present in the ith location is smaller than my pivot element, then I will be incrementing to the next immediate value. What I was telling, I am checking what is the, so currently the I value is 1. So what I am checking, what is the value present, the array is naming with A. So what is the value present in A of 1? Which value will be present in A of 1? Please respond it, unmute yourself and tell me. 26. So 26. If the value, so what was the low value or the pivot value I was having? That was 54. Okay. So 54 and 26 will be comparing, and 26 is a smaller value. If that is the case, I will be incrementing to the next value, I plus plus. So I will be moving into the next location here. If it find out a larger value than the pivot element, then the movement of the I will be stopping. I will be moving from left to right. If it find out a smaller element, then I will be incrementing to the next immediate value like that. So whenever it find out a greater value than the pivot element, then I will be stopping its movement. It will stay there. So in this case, again I became 2. I became 2. I am checking what is the value present in A of 2 location. So index value I will be writing here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So I am checking I value at location 2. What is the value of I value at location 2? 93. So 93 is the value present. Is it a greater value than the pivot element? Yes. Once it is finding out it is a greater value, then the movement of I is stopping. I stopped at that location. Okay. So I stopped at that location. Now what should I do? I will be starting with respect to J. So J anyway I can't increment to the other side. So J will be decrementing one by one. So what is the value of J? Currently the J value is 8. So currently the J value is 8. So I have to check what is the value present in A of J, that is A of 8, and that value is 20 along with the pivot. Pivot and the A of J location is comparing. A of J, again, if the value which was present in the Jth location is higher value than the pivot, then the J will be decrementing. The value present in the jth location is a higher value than, because j will be moving from right to left. This is the movement of j. When this j movement will happen, if the value which was present in a of j location is greater than the pivot element, then j will be decrementing one by one. If the value present in the jth location is smaller than the pivot element, then the movement of the j will be stopping. Okay, so in this case, what is the value present in the jth location? That is 20, which is a smaller value compared to the pivot. So whether the movement should happen, that is j should decrement or j should keep stop its movement. If the value which was present in the jth location is a greater value, very good. The value present in the jth location is a greater value, then j will be moving. But now the jth location, the value will be a smaller value. So the movement of the j should stop. Now the movement of I is stopped at location 2 and the movement of j is stopped at location 8. Once the movement of I and j is stopped, you have to compare two cases. You compare I value and j. I and j you have to compare. Compare I and j. So while comparing I and j, what you will be getting is, if the I value is lesser than j, if the I value is lesser than j, you have to interchange A of I and A of J. You have to interchange A of I and A of J. If I value is greater than J, else case. If else case is happening, that is J is greater and I is a smaller value, you have to interchange A of J with A of law. What is there in A of law? A of law we will be keeping the value which was the pivot element, correct? A of law is the pivot element. That means A of J will be interchanging with the pivot element. This is the only logic you need to remember. How the I will be moving, how the J will be moving, and once the movement of I and J is got over, you have to compare I and J. If I value is lesser than J value, I and J are index values. Okay. So I is lesser than J, then you have to interchange A of I and A of J. If the other case, you have to interchange A of J with the A of J with the A of law. This is the complete logic. Now we will go through each of the iteration part. So in this case, the already the movement of I and J is stopped. So what should I do? I am comparing what is the value of I. I is 2. So comparing I and 2, I and J. So I is 2 and I got J is 8. So I is lesser than J. So what should I do? A of I and A of J I have to interchange. So 93 will come in this location. Sorry, 93 will be coming into 93 will be coming into this location and 20 will be moving into the other location. So 93 and 20 will be interchanging. So that is the first iteration. Again, we will now I am going into the iteration part. You can see the same. You see here what I did. So 54 was the first element. As I mentioned, instead of I and J, here it was mentioned the variable name as left mark and right mark. So left mark is indicating my variable I and right mark is indicating my variable J. Why I am mentioning I and J is the code has written in such a way that we have instead of left mark and right mark, we have written it as I and J. Okay. So that's why I am explaining like that. So we'll see what is happening. So the index value will be starting, left mark will be starting from this location and right mark will be finding. So once it was checking 26 is a smaller value than 56, then it is coming to the next value, that is 93. It find out a larger value here. Then similarly, right mark will be checking, right mark will be finding out a smaller value, that is 20 is a smaller value, because see writes after the splitting, if you are keeping the pivot element, right hand side should have the value which is greater. So that's why J is checking the value. If it is greater, then no need to worry. So already, even if P I am keeping in somewhere in between, the right hand side is already keeping a larger value. So no problem, I can keep that element. But if a smaller element is present, I have to shift it into the left hand side. That was the logic. So when I am searching for the J value or the right hand mark, if the smaller value is present in the right side, I have to shift it into the left side. If the larger value is present in the left side, it has to come into the right side. So that was the swapping logic. So now the movement of left mark and right mark was stopped over here. So I have to interchange. Left mark is smaller than the right mark. So I have to interchange the value. Now this is 20 and this is 93. Again the left mark and right mark is in the same location. Again checking for if it is a smaller value, no worries. So 20 is a smaller value than 54, no worries. Then 17 is a smaller value than 54, no worries. 77 is a larger value than 54, then I have to stop. So that is the left mark will stop at this location because it find out a larger value than the pivot element. Now the from the right hand side it will be checking. Right hand side already it was in 93, it is a larger value. Then 55, again that is a larger value than my pivot element. Pivot element is 54. Then it is reaching 44. 44 is a smaller value than 54. Then I have to stop my right mark also. So the right mark was stopped over here. Comparing the index value of left mark and right mark, left mark you can see the left mark is a smaller value and right mark. This is not the value which was indicated in the left mark. Left mark and right mark are just the index values. So index values is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So index value of the left mark has the value 4 and right mark has value 6. So 4 and 6 will be comparing. 4 is a smaller value. So again the logic is, if I is lesser than j, what should be the logic? Interchange I is lesser than j. The logic is interchange a of I and a of j. So that was happening. A of I, that is this value. A of left mark is this value. So 77 and 44 will be interchanging. So 77 and 44 is this location. Again, what is happening? 70. You can see the next iteration. 77 is and 44 has interchanged. 44 came in this location and 77 came in this part. So again the left mark pointer was here. So now it was holding the value was 44 because after the interchange it will be like this. Then the 44 left mark, now 44 is a smaller value than 55, no problem. So it will be moving into the next value, that is 31. And 31 is again a smaller value, so I can move to the left mark and move to the next immediate location, that is it is reaching 44. Sorry, 44 is now currently changed to 77, correct? So what is happening, you see this initially it was in this location, the left mark was in this location. So I was comparing for the left mark one by one location. 44 is smaller than 54, so it is I can increase. Then it is 31. 31 is again a smaller value than 54, so I can increment. Then 77, so that is a greater value. So when it find out a greater value, it has to stop. So the left mark has stopped over here when it find out 77. Similar case for right mark also. Initially the right mark was pointing to 77. Now it reaches to the next immediate value, that is to 31. When it reaches 31, it find out a smaller value because it was checking for only larger value, means it can continue. But here when it find out 31, it was finding out a smaller value, so it has to stop. So currently the value of left mark and right mark, you see the left mark was having the value as the index value. This is 6th index and this is 5th index and this is 4th index. I have taken directly the index value from the top. So the left mark was holding the index value was 6 and right mark was holding the index value was 5. So in this case, I am comparing I and j value, or left mark and right mark. So I value is 6 and j value, sorry, I value is 6 and j value is 5. So I is not less than j. So what should be the criteria? In this case, what is the case? That is the else part of this. So interchange a of j and a of low. So what is a of j? Which is the right mark. J was indicated by the right mark. So it means that 31 and 54 should interchange. 31 and 54 should interchange. 31 and 54 should interchange. So you can see the 31 and 54 has interchanged. Now I find out the location of my pivot value. So pivot I have shifted. That was the last movement. One more thing I want to mention, whenever there is a crossing has happened between the left mark and right mark, then this process will be stopping. Whenever a crossing was happened between the left mark and right mark, then this process will be until they crosses. You can see the statement has written over here. Until they crosses, this process should continue. Whenever a crossing was happened between the left mark and right mark, you can stop this process, and uh, it both the left mark and right mark has stopped over here. Now I have compared as usual, comparing the I and j value. Then I is greater in this case compared to j. So what should I do? I have to follow the other strategy, that is interchanging a of j and a of low. So a of j value was uh, the right mark pointed value was 31 and this was 54. So that both the values has interchanged. So now you got the array which was lesser the value which was lesser than 54 is in the left hand side of the pivot element, and the values which was right side of it will be greater than 54. So now you can apply the quicksort on this particular set of elements, and similarly for the other set of elements. This is the major logic behind the quicksort. How many of you understood this logic? If you understood it, you just write it yes in the chat box. Okay, one more will do. One more will do. So this is the next set of elements. 50, 30, 10, 90, 80, 20, 40 and 60. Okay. So this is the set of elements I am having. So first itself I have taken, you can see here, for all of you start doing it without looking here, you start doing it, and whoever was not understanding it, you just listen one more time. Other people start doing it by yourself. Okay. So 50 I have to take as the pivot element. Other people please listen. So pivot means the first element I am randomly taking. So 50 is the pivot element I can take. That is the first diagram was indicating. Second diagram, so the index value will be varying from low to high. So it is indicating like the lowest index and the highest index. In this case, 0 and 7 are the lowest and highest index. And I variable is indicating like the low plus 1, and j will be always starting with a high. So low variable you will be getting like I will be starting with low plus 1, so it should start with index number 1. So you can see I has kept over here, and j will be having the value as 7. Now I have to move I in this direction and j in this direction. I will be checking the elements which were the value which was present in the ith location. If it is smaller than the pivot element, I will be incrementing to the next value until it find out a larger value. So first value is 30. So 30 is a smaller value. So I should increase to the next immediate value. So I will be coming over here. Again 10 is the value which was present. Again that is again a smaller value compared to 50. So I should increase to the next immediate value. So I will be coming into the value 90. In this case 90 is a larger value. So I have to stop its movement because it find out a larger value compared to its pivot. Pivot value was 50. So until it find out a larger value, it has to move to the next immediate location. So now in this location, it find out a larger value. So it find out a larger value. So we have stopped the movement of I. Now I will be coming into the movement of J. J should move from left to, right to the left. So it will be coming into, we will be having jth location value should be, because the right hand side should be greater than pivot. If it is a greater value, I am keeping that element there and I am coming into the next immediate element. That is the logic. So when I am coming into jth location, the value present in jth location is 60, which is a greater value compared to 50. So I can move my j to the next immediate location, that is j will be coming into 40. But 40 is a smaller value compared to the 50, that is the next comparison. So it find out a smaller value in the right hand side, so j also stopped its movement. Now I have stopped the movement of I and j. The logic is I have to compare I and j. If I is lesser than j, interchange a of I and a of j. Interchange a of I and a of j. So a of I is value 90 and 40. So these values will be interchanging. So I was getting this as the new array. Again, the movement of I will be happening. So I is having already a smaller value compared to 50. So no worries. I should increase to the next immediate value. It reached 80, which again comparing with the pivot. So it find out a larger value. So 80 is a larger value. So it has to stop its movement. So the movement has stopped over here. Then it will be moving into J. J is already having the value as 90, which is greater than 50. So I can move the J to the next immediate value, that is it reached 20. So 20 is a smaller value compared to the pivot. So I can't keep it in the jth location. So it has to shift, it has to move from that right hand side. So what? So the movement of J is also stopped, the movement of I is also stopped. Again, the comparison of I and J should happen. I value is smaller than J. I value is indicating like the index value. So in this case, the index of I is 4 and index of J is 5. So I and J are index value, not the value present in that location. I is the index value, J is again an index value. So I is 4 and J is 5. So I is lesser than j condition satisfies. So I have to interchange a of I and a of j. So that means 20 and 80 will be interchanging. Okay. So now this is my I and this is my j. Again, I should move into the I is already having a smaller value compared to the pivot. I should move to the next immediate location. I has reached at 80 and it find out a larger value, so it stopped over there. And j will be moving into the left hand side. J will be coming over here and it find out a smaller value, that is 20. So 20 has find out over here. Now I and j are the elements I am having. J is also find out a smaller value, so it has stopped its movement. And in the similar way, I has also stopped its movement, that is 80. Now I have to again compare I and j. In this case, j is greater than I. Till now it was I was smaller than j. Sorry, the reverse one. In this case, what is the j value? J is smaller than I. Till now, I was a smaller value. In this case, what is the interchange I should do? A of j with A of low. A of j with A of low you have to do. What is A of j value? That is 20 has to interchange with 50. 50 was the low value or the pivot. You can even write A of j should interchange with the pivot. A of j with interchange with pivot. Pivot value was 50. Now actually the last step is indicating whenever it is crossing I and j, I am keeping my pivot in a specific location. By wherever the j value was present, with that j value index value, I am just interchanging the element. So in that case, the condition is interchange A of j and a pivot. So 50 came over here and 20 went to the first location. So in this case, you look into the left hand side and right hand side. Left hand side was having the elements which is smaller than the pivot and the right hand side was holding the elements which is greater than the pivot. Are you clear with this quicksort logic? All of you? If anyone is having any doubt, you just ask me now. Okay, now this elements also you can sort it separately. What is it? Okay, before moving into that, we'll just tell you what is the logic. This is the code for that. So before that, how the recursively the function goal will be happening, I was showing you. Because once you find out this pivot element location, we are recursively calling the function. So this part of logic I was already explained you. Now I am just trying to explain about this partition function. What is that partition function is doing? It is finding out a location for your pivot element. That is, in the S location I can keep my pivot element, so that the elements which are left of the S will be smaller and right of the S will be larger than the pivot element. Okay, so that logic, how can I write? So I am just mentioning about the partition function over here. So the inputs are the array and its lower index and higher index. So the variables we have denoted as I and j. So pivot element means what is there in the lowest index. A of low will be the pivot element. P is indicating the pivot element. Then I is equal to low plus 1. So what is happening? I is equal to low plus 1. That is the I variable initialization. And the j is equal to high. So that is the j variable initialization. So I and j variable has initialized, because whenever the first starting, the I was holding the value as I low plus 1, I have written over here, and j was holding the value was high. So that initialization was happened. Then while low lesser than high, so what is its intention? If it is a one single element, no need to do. If low and high value are same, then it is one single element array. So in that case, no need of doing all these operation, directly it is sorted. Otherwise, if low is lesser than high, it indicates that the array is having multiple elements. So in that case, you have to do this operation. So what is happening? This is the code for the movement of I. You see what is the condition? Comparing A of I has already initialized over here. This is the while loop. So A of I will be comparing with P. If A of ith location is having the smaller value, then I should increase. Compared to the pivot element, if A of I was having a smaller value, then I should increase. So A of I is lesser than or equal to P, comparison will be happening. And in this case, pivot element is a greater value and A of I is a smaller value. I will be incrementing till I reaches high. This process will be continuing. If I value is high, is the final index or the largest index. So until the I reaches the high, this process will be continuing. This is the while loop. So repeatedly this loop will be moving until it find out the larger element in the A of I location. Because this is a while loop, continuously this statement I will be incrementing every time. And once it find out an A of I which is greater than the pivot element, then the increment of I will be stopping and it is coming out of the while loop. Okay. So that is the logic of the while loop. Until this condition satisfies, the while loop statement will be executing. So A of I is lesser than or equal to P and I is lesser than high. In both the cases is satisfying, immediately I will be increasing to the next immediate value. Again the condition is checking, and whether both the condition are satisfied, I will be incrementing to the next value. So whenever this A of I find out in the A of I location, it is holding a value which is greater than the pivot element, I has to stop this process. So it means that it is coming out of the while loop. Similar case for the j also. If A of j value is greater than the pivot value, then j will be decrementing. This process will be continuing again. This is also inside the while loop. So whenever this is coming out of the while loop, it means that it find out a smaller value in the A of j location. If A of j location a smaller value than the pivot, if it is find out, the while loop condition is false, then the j decrement process will stop and it is coming out of the while loop. So here the increment of I and increment of j has over. Now you have to compare I and j. If I and j, I is lesser than j, you are interchanging a of I and a of j. You can see a of I is comparing with the a of j. So a of, you can see this is the code for swapping a of I and temporary variable you are keeping. This is where simple code all of you know. A of I location we are keeping with a temp variable, then A of I location A of j will be keeping. So temp is already holding A of I, that will be keeping in A of j location. So this is swapping A of I and A of j. Other case, as I mentioned you, A of j and A of low will be interchanging. And it is returning j, you can see. So where actually we are keeping our pivot element, wherever your j element is present or jth index after crossing between I and j, wherever your j is present, there the a of low you have kept. That means 50 will be coming into the jth location. So that was the logic. Return j has indicated like in the jth location, we have kept the partition function. Why the index value was asking for the sort function here, you can see the s is expecting, that is after calling the partition function, it is expecting an integer value from the partition function, that is the j value. That means in the jth index I have kept my pivot element. So that was the value which was expecting from this partition function. So that's why the index value wherever I have kept my pivot element, that is in the jth location, that was transferred from this function. It was returned from this function. If while condition was not satisfying, that means only one single element was present, then that case also directly it is returning the jth index or ith index. Both I and j will be same because it was having only one single element. So this is about the partition function. So can we do this other part of it, 20, 30, 10 and 40? We'll do it. So it means that only 50 we have sorted till now. So I am trying to solve the other part of it. That is, I have to solve the array like a 20, 30, 10 and 40. This is the left hand side array. So I am keeping 20 as the pivot element and I will be here and j will be here. So comparing the pivot element with the ith location and jth location one by one. So first I will be checking with I. A of I and the location which was present in the ith location, that is 30, is a larger value. So the movement of I is stopped over there itself. And comparing with j, j is a larger value. Jth location will be holding 40 as the value, which is a larger value. So j should decrement. So j will be coming in this particular location. Okay, because this was a larger value. And now in the jth location, it find out a smaller value, that is 10. I will write it one more time so that, okay. 20 was the pivot element I am having and 30 was stopped. The movement of I is stopped because already it find out a larger value, and 10 and 40. So in the jth location the j value was 40, which is higher than 20. So j should decrement. So j will be coming over here. In this case j find out a smaller value, so the movement of j should also stop. So the movement of j is also stopped. So what is happening? I and j movement stopped. So I have to compare I and j. In this case, I value is lesser than j because the index value of that was 1 and this was 2. 1 and 2 are the index value. So what is the procedure? Interchange a of I and a of j. Interchange a of I and a of j. So I will be getting the value as 20, 10, 30 and 40. Okay, now this is in the ith location and this is in the jth location. Again I am comparing I currently it is having a smaller value than the pivot element, so I should increment to the next immediate value. It reached 30. So 30 is a larger value than 20. It has to stop it. So in this case, 20, 10, 30 and 40. So I has increased to the next value. So I reached over here, and J was holding 30 as the value. So which was a higher value. So it should decrement. So J reached over here and it find out a smaller value, that is 20. Sorry, that is 10. So in the jth location it find out a smaller value. So the movement of J is stopped and also the I is stopped. Again compare I and J. In this case, I index is 1, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3 is the in this index value. So I was holding the value as 2. So I is greater than J. So what is the logic? We have to interchange A of J and A of low, or the pivot element. So in this case 20 and jth location value was 10. So that will be interchanging. So 10, 20, 30 and 40 came. So again we find out 20 as the pivot element. Left hand side of it was having only one single element, so no need of sorting it. And right hand side is having two elements, so I have to sort this one. If I don't know whether it is sorted, already it is sorted, but we are not sure until if it is having only one single element. That is a smaller problem. Otherwise you have to split it and to do the operation. So, but based on 20, we have split the array. We have partitioned the array. So, the left hand side of 20 will be having only one element, that is 10, and the right hand side was holding 30 and 40. So, this way we can proceed it. Again 30 and 40 you have to take it. Again 30 and 40 are the elements we are having. So 30 will be acting as the pivot element and I and J will be in the same location. And so I movement of I has stopped over here because the I has already reached the high value, and which is a larger value than the pivot. So the movement of I is stopped, but J can be moved over here. So J has coming into the next location. So J reached over here. The interchanging of I and J has happened. So in this case, what should the happen? A of low should be, J is a larger value, so A of low and A of J should be interchanged. In this case, both are pointing to the same value because A of low is also 30, A of J is also 30. So interchanging between 30 and 30 will be happening. So 30 was, the pivot was 30. So 30 is a itself it was keeping in the right position. So that means the array is already sorted. So the left hand side of 30 was not having any element, right hand side was holding the value 40. So now the elements 10, 20, 30 and 40 is sorted. Moving into the right hand side, we will be having 80, 90 and 60. This is the another array. So I have to take 80 as the pivot element and I will be here and J will be here. So again, I is already in the holding a larger value. So I have to stop its movement over here, and J is holding a smaller value. So J is also stop its movement. Then I have to compare I and J. I is lesser than J. So in this case, what should I do? I have to interchange A of I and A of J. So I will be getting 80, 60 and 90. I will be in this location and J will be in this location. I is already holding a value which is smaller than the pivot. Then I has to move to the right hand side. So I will be going in the 90 and it find out a larger value. So I will be in this location and J will be coming into this location. So comparing I and J, and J is also find out a smaller value than the pivot element. So J also stopped and I also stopped. I find out a larger value and J find out a smaller value. the process of the movement of I and j has stopped, then I am comparing I and j value is a smaller value. So what should I do? A of j and A of low should interchange. So I will be getting 60, 80 and 90. So now the left hand side will be having smaller value and right hand side will be having higher value. Left hand side as well as the right hand side was having only one single element, so no need of sorting it. So this will be the final answer for the entire things: 10, 20, 30, 40, and this was the 50, and then 60, 80 and 90. So this is the way the complete sorting operation will be happening. So only one logic is sufficient for all of you. So once you find out how you kept the value of 50, now these two are again two arrays, two unsorted arrays. You have to apply recursively the logic of partitioning over here, and similarly for the right hand side. Right hand side array as well as the left hand side array, recursively we are taking the pivot element and doing it recursively. Okay. Please make a note of this question and write down your answer in the chat box. Given the following list of numbers, write your okay, name is already there. You write your option in the chat box. A, B, C, D, whichever be the option. In the second partitioning, so the first pivot has kept, then the second pivot will be doing it in that time, which will be the final array. After the second partitioning, what will be the final array? Okay, that I will give at the end. Just note down the question. You can write your answer in the chat box. That will be considered as your Viva answer. Fourteen, 17, 13, 15, 19, 10, 3, 16, 9, 12. So only that array you note down. Just note down. Okay, this is the code part. Just will start explaining from the main. So the program execution, as you know, it will be starting from the main. So the main function, then an array, we need to store this value. So an array has created. So the syntax of the array creation already all of you know. The array data type, array name, new, then the data type, then the maximum size of the array. So that value you can keep it here. Then integer value, enter the size of the array. So that is the input it is reading. How many elements you want to read in the array. So that is one part. Then as I mentioned, it was asking for larger value of n. So you can generate a random number. So for generating random number, we need the random number class. So you need to import that particular class over here. Import java.util.random has added over here. So it indicates like a random is a class which was present in the utility package. So that was added. Then so that I can use the functions which was present in the random class. So for using the functions, I need to create the object of it. So I has to create class name is random. So for any class, how can I create the object is class name, object name is equal to new class name, then the functional bracket. So this was creating the random class object. Then what is this will be doing? So generator is the object which was created. Any variable name you can just give it here. That is just an object name. So generator is just an object name which was given for the random class object. Then 20 integer values randomly, and next int 20. So it means that uh, within 20, next int is a function which was present in the random class. What it is doing is any value which is less than 20 will be as coming as a random integer value. So n values we want to put it into the array. So that was the input I have read from the user. How many integers you want to sort. So that the array size was we were read from the user. So that value we have taken from here. So until that many number, the integer values or the random values will be generating. So the random values will be generating. Then the array before sorting. So 200 is indicating like until 200 any value will be coming as a random number. So from 0 to 200 whatever be the value that will be randomly generating and it will be coming and storing into the array A of I. Then the array before, so what is the value has generated we don't know. So for our purpose we are just printing it on the screen so that we know that which all are the values were present in the array before sorting. Now the questions, so this much is just input collection. So the here the array has created and how many integers I want to use, that value I have read from the user, that is n, how many integers were there in the array, and then the value we have kept in the array, that is random value we have generated. Random is a predefined class which was present in the utility package, so we have used that random class from the utility package, we have imported it, and then we have created the object of it and called the next int function to get the integer value in that particular range, and then the elements were printing before it. Now we are calling the quicksort. So the class name is quicksort. You can see quicksort is the class name. We have generated public class quicksort. Inside that, which all are the functions I am having? One is main function. You can see only main function, sort function and partition function. I have already shown you what is sort function and what is partition function. So in the main, what I have done is the input I have read from the user and I am creating an object of the quicksort function and I am calling the sort function over here. 0 and n minus 1 are the index values of the array. Lowest index and highest index will be transferring to the sort function. And before doing it, this is the sorting operation will be happening over here, and it is also asking you to calculate the time requirement for that. So for that, what we are doing is system dot nano time will be the current system time will be recorded before the function call. What is the time we have just noted down? That is the start time. That is just a variable name is start time. System dot nano time will give you the current system time in nanoseconds. So similarly, after the function call also I am checking what is the system time. So the its difference will give me the time for executing this function. So the elapsed time I can calculate by stop time minus start time. So before the function call system dot nano time will give the current system time in the nanosecond. So by calling the function, calling this nano system dot nano time before the quicksort function as well as the after the quicksort function, before the quicksort function as well as the after the quicksort function, option number only you need to write A, B, C, D. I will project it after this also. Now you just listen this. So this is the quicksort function I am having. So before the calling the function also and after calling the function also, we have just checked the system time. That was the difference will be giving the time for executing the quicksort function. So that was the value we are just printing out. What is the elapsed time we have calculated over here. Then the sorted array will be printing. So the only function call was happening inside this sort function. We'll see what is there in the sort function. I have already explained you what is there in the sort function. The recursive call should happen. So if low is lesser than high, it is calling the partition function, and then S value we are getting, that is from low to S minus 1, the quicksort call should happen again recursively. Similarly, from S plus 1 to high, the recursive call should happen. So this is happening for the sort function. And coming into the inside that we are calling a partition function. So partition function will give the location of your pivot element. So based on that, again the subarrays we are sorting over here, left subarray and right subarray, and S is the index value or S is the pivot element location. So based on that, the partition function will be coming. So look into the partition function. The code I have already explained you. I is equal to low plus 1, j is equal to high, then the increment of I will be happening inside this while loop and decrement of j will be happening in this. After that, I am comparing I and j. If I value is lesser than j, swapping a of I and a of j. Otherwise, it is swapping a of low and a of j. If j is greater value and it is returning j, if low is equal to high, that means only one single element is there. That time the array is already sorted, so the j value I can directly return. So that is the complete explanation of the code. So once it has done, you can see the partition function will be coming over here, and that value, whatever was coming after the partition function, the entire array will be printing. We'll run this. Enter the array size. As of now, I am just keeping for our understanding, just 8 integers I have given. You can see the integer value, whatever was automatically generated, we have called the random function. So 8 random integers were generated. This was the element 121, 137, 198, 111, 118, 114, 118, 118 twice, I think it is generated, and 3. So after that the sorting has happened. So this is the sorted element 3, 111, 118, 121, 137, 140 and 198. So this is the final resultant one. So the question is also asking you to draw a graph also. So this is with respect to 8 elements. So the question is asking you to create it for multiple bigger element, more than 5000 elements. So after that, what you can do is you can draw a graph. You can draw a graph like this. So n value was, so n will be in the x-axis and the elapsed time will be printing over here. So the elapsed time will be, you can see over here. So based when n value was 100, what was the time? You can mark it. When n value was 200, what is the time elapsed time you can mark it, and n value was 500, what was the value you got it, you can draw it as a graph. Okay, so the elapsed time was also printing over there. I think I didn't show that. One more time we'll run it. Enter the array size. So 5, you can see the time taken also has written over here. So that is by before calling the quicksort function and after calling the quicksort function, this many nanosecond time has taken. That means for the execution of quicksort, this much time has taken. When n was 5, this was the value. Similarly, I have to run it multiple times for different value of n. Then you can draw a graph like this. So that was the final answer, or the question is asking all these things from you, so you can do all these things. Okay, any doubt if you are having, you can ask me now related to quicksort. Again, the thing we'll discuss in the theory class, the quicksort. Again, best case worst case analysis part I didn't discuss, that you just leave it. In the theory class we'll discuss it. As of now, the program as well as the logic behind the quicksort I have explained you. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. Any doubt? Okay, then all of you can write your, oh sorry, the question is pending now. You just solve it. We'll see. All of you write your option. Any option you just write it. A, B, C, D. And only 2 people have the courage to write the answer. What about other people? Not even attempting? Yeah, answer is D. Answer is D. Okay. Okay. All of you can write. Oh, 1 minute. I will mark your attendance. From first USN. Okay, USN 1.
Present, ma'am.
2.
Present, ma'am.
3.
Present, ma'am.
4. 4. 4. USN 4. 4 absent. 5.
Present, ma'am.
What happened?
Present,
Sleeping.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, 6. Okay, 5. 6. 6. USN 6. 7. 4, 6, 7 absent. 8.
Present, ma'am. 8%.
9. 10. 11.
Present, ma'am.
12.
Present, ma'am.
13.
Present, ma'am.
14.
Present, ma'am.
15.
Present, ma'am.
16.
Present, ma'am.
17. 17. 18.
Present, ma'am.
19.
Present, ma'am.
20.
Yes, ma'am.
21. 21. 22.
Present, ma'am.
23. 24.
Ma'am, only till 22 is.
22, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay. The first 3 lectures videos also I have uploaded in the YouTube. If anyone is having any doubt regarding the first 3 programs, you can refer those things. Okay. And now
Ma'am, can you
onwards,
explain in this question why 19 and 17 is not shown?
which was it? This question.
Yes, ma'am.
So the elements are like 14, actually you have to solve it separately, then you will get it. 14, 17, 13, 15. Others, if you have finished, you can just leave it. Whoever has doubt, you just stay here there. Other people can leave. 15, 19, 10, 3, 16, 9, 12. Okay, I am also solving now. Just to wait
Ma'am,
for 2
after
minutes.
first swapping, we'll get this one. After first sorting.
After first sorting,
Yes, ma'am. And 14 is the pivot element. So for the right hand side, we are getting 19, 16, 15, 17. And
okay,
when
just
we
wait. I will
okay.
do it. Why higher value then. Okay, after the first iteration, you will be getting 10, 12, 13, 9, 3, 14, 19, 16, 15, 17.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then next iteration is for only for the left hand side. See, now I created 2
We'll not
subarrays.
consider for the both side. Only for the left side we'll do.
Only left hand side. You look into the recursive function.
Okay, ma'am. Got it.
Look into the recursive function. This one. You see, first the left hand side completely the sorting operation will happen. This is for low to s minus 1. Okay. That is the left subarray. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, USN 10 present. He has written in the chat box, ma'am.
Okay. Fine.
Ma'am, can you please upload the doc of the document?
Which one?
This program.
This program I want to upload it.
Okay.
The materials whatever I have used, I will upload it.
Acha, okay, ma'am.
Ah. 1 week time I will give. So within that you try to upload the program. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Slides I will share. Whatever the things I have used in the class.